Hello, I'm Mark Doyle. I'm the CEO of Jarvis Contracting. We're very proud of our reputation for quality at Jarvis, but more importantly, we want to make sure that everyone goes home safely from any of our sites. So if you've worked for Jarvis before, you'll know that we really care about the people that work with us. We have trained mental health first aiders across the business. We display posters that provide 24/7 emergency help for people that might feel that they've got pressures on them about their mental or physical health. They might be financial issues, legal issues, or just advice about their occupational health and well-being. So look out for these posters or speak to one of our site managers who'll point you in the right direction.
Hi, I'm Danny Bonner, the Operations Director for Jarvis Contracting. We're now going to take you through the Jarvis site induction, and following this, the site manager will give you the site-specific induction. No worker will be permitted on site whilst under the effects of alcohol or drugs. Smoking and e-cigarettes are only permitted in the designated areas. Eating and drinking is not permitted on site. The site facilities within the Jarvis accommodation area should be used. The use of foul language, violence, threats of violence, vandalism, misuse of safety equipment are prohibited. Dress code is long trousers, smart work shorts, and a t-shirt as a minimum. Bare chests are prohibited. Mandatory PPE is to be worn at all times unless stated otherwise. Mobile phones are only to be used in the designated areas. Designated access routes must be used at all times. You must sign in and out of the Jarvis site office when entering and leaving site. All persons must comply with the safety information and signage displayed on site and on the notice boards. Misuse of equipment and vandalism will result in disciplinary action. Any unsafe act or breach of site rules can result in dismissal from site. Radios are allowed to be used at an appropriate volume. Permit to work procedures must be followed. All persons are to comply with the fire and emergency procedures and are to follow instructions given by fire marshals. Burning of materials on site is prohibited. All persons will observe traffic regulations and avoid causing nuisance and obstruction on surrounding roads and footpaths. Cost assessments must be produced for any hazardous substances you intend to use. These must be issued to your site manager. PPE is equipment that will protect you against health and safety risks at work. Whilst on site, you must wear hard hat, gloves, boots and high-vis. Additional PPE will be listed in your risk assessment. No Jarvis competitor contractors branded PPE is to be worn on site. PPE must be suitable, fitted correctly and maintained in a good condition. We have hard hat safe zones where you can take your hard hat off, and these will be displayed with signage. Risk assessments and method statements need to be produced for all works on this site. It is important that you read and sign your RAMs to say that you've understood them. You then must carry out your works in accordance with this document. All accidents, even minor ones, are to be reported to the site manager. You will not be penalised for doing so. The site manager will then carry out our reporting and investigating procedure. A near miss is an early warning of a potential incident that could be avoided. On all sites, we encourage operatives to report any near misses and hazards which they deem to be potentially dangerous or unsafe. Operatives can complete the near miss reporting form located in the site office or canteen. All accidents must be reported and entered into the site accident book held in the site office. Ensure your site manager is made aware of any health condition or disability, past or present, which might affect your work. The site manager will explain where the welfare facilities are. Do not leave valuables unattended. Lockers are provided. Keep washrooms and toilets clean, reporting any defects to the Jarvis site team. Clean up spills and dispose of litter in the canteen. Make sure food is correctly stored and disposed of. A tidy site is a safe site. All rubbish generated during the works is to be cleared as soon as possible and disposed of in the relevant waste bins and skips provided. Ensure passageways, corridors, stairways and fire escape routes are clear. Ensure there are no trailing cables. Always store materials in agreed areas and ensure goods and pallets are stacked safely. Keep your individual work areas in good, clean order. The site manager will go through the traffic management plan during the site-specific induction. Drivers are not to use mobile phones whilst operating plant or machinery. Remember to observe the site speed limit. All drivers must wear seatbelts. Only a trained banksman may direct or manoeuvre vehicles. If a vehicle is left unattended, it must be left in a designated area and a secure manner. Brakes should be applied, engine switched off and keys removed. Plant and vehicles must only be operated by trained and competent persons. Certification is required. When operating plant and equipment, you must be aware of other vehicles and people working in your area. Segregation between vehicles and pedestrians is a priority. Carry out daily visual inspection of plant prior to use and report any defects to your supervisor. Weekly inspections must be carried out and recorded in the Pure Register. No operative is to misuse or abuse any mechanical plant or equipment used by themselves or others. Some types of work create high or special risks. These will be strictly controlled by the permit to work system. The operations controlled by a permit include hot works, excavations, working in confined spaces, use of step ladders, and lifting. You must obtain a permit from your supervisor before starting such work, and permits must be closed out and signed off when the work is complete. Falls from height are the biggest danger on site. Avoid working at height wherever possible, but if there is no alternative, then remember, use the approved means of access at all times. Use mobile scaffold and podium instead of ladders wherever possible. Suitable edge protection must be provided. Wear your harness and hook on to a safe point where necessary. Always ensure ladders are footed or tied and that you maintain 3 points of contact when using. All working platforms must be erected by a trained and competent person. No unauthorised persons shall alter or interfere with scaffolding, ladders or any working platforms. All operations involving lifting equipment must be properly planned by a competent person, appropriately supervised and carried out in a safe manner and in accordance with the LOLA regs. You are able to carry out daily visual inspections of lifting equipment prior to use and report any defects to your supervisor. Weekly inspections must be carried out and recorded in the LOLA register. LOLA requires that lifting equipment must be of adequate strength and stability. LOLA also requires that all equipment used for lifting is fit for purpose, appropriate for the task, suitably marked, and in many cases subject to the statutory, periodic, thorough examination. All lifting equipment, including accessories, must be clearly marked to indicate their safe working loads. Temporary works are the parts of a construction project which are needed to enable the permanent works to be built. Usually the temporary works are removed after use, for example access scaffolds, props, shoring, excavation support, false work and formwork. Our site managers are temporary works coordinators. Please speak to them if you have any questions. Every year people are killed and seriously injured whilst working in and around excavations. The risks include excavations collapsing and burying or injuring people working in them, material falling from the sides into excavations, and people or plant falling into the excavations. Ensure all excavations are suitably barried off. Permits to dig will be issued and areas are to be CAT scanned prior to digging. Your site manager will give further details and issue permits where necessary. Asbestos can cause serious and fatal diseases. It still kills around 5,000 workers each year. This is more than the number of people killed on the road. It can be present today in any building built or refurbished before the year 2000. The site manager will make you aware of any known asbestos during your induction. If you suspect any further asbestos while working, please stop immediately and contact the site manager. Construction dust is not just a nuisance. It can seriously damage your health. Regularly breathing in these dusts over a long period of time can cause life-changing lung diseases. If dust exposure cannot be avoided, precautions need to be taken. Dust extraction is to be used and areas are to be dampened down. Suitable RPE should be used as a last resort. Dust control measures and RPE requirements will be included in your risk assessment. The site has a construction environmental management plan which outlines environmental information relevant to this site. Your site manager will communicate environmental information from the plan which could affect you. Please be environmentally aware when carrying out your work. Jarvis are proud partners of the Considerate Constructor scheme. Each site is registered with the scheme, which monitors how we care about appearance, respect the community, protect the environment, secure everyone's safety, value our workforce. Further information on the scheme can be provided by the site team or the Health and Safety Department. Modern slavery is a crime and a violation of fundamental human rights. It takes various forms such as slavery, servitude, forced and compulsory labour and human trafficking, all of which have in common the deprivation of a person's liberty by another in order to exploit them for personal or commercial gain. Jarvis take modern slavery very seriously. If you or anyone you know are affected by this issue, contact the site team who can offer further support and guidance.
Okay, you've now finished watching the generic site safety induction video for Jarvis. Our site manager will now take you through the site-specific emergency procedures for your site. Thank you for watching.